Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers are set to face off against the Seattle Seahawks and Geno Smith. And most 49ers fans just think that the 49ers are going to absolutely just show it to the Seahawks and blow them out. As a 49ers fan who's been around for when the Seahawks were really good with Russell Wilson and beat the 49ers quite consistently, and I mean, honestly, Pete Carroll still kind of owns Shanahan. So we'll see how this game actually plays out, but I don't think it's a game that we should just say, oh, it's in the bag, don't worry about it. These are playoff teams. I know the Seahawks are a little bit overplaying right now. They're much less talented than the 49ers, but they might have a better coach. I mean, I don't know. At least he has a Super Bowl, right? But honestly, I think that Kyle Shanahan can really take it to Pete Carroll and build confidence in beating a Super Bowl winning coach. And hopefully this year, Kyle Shanahan gets his own because, I mean, while the 49ers have been very good under Shanahan and went to multiple playoffs, they still haven't won a Super Bowl. And that's something that 49ers fans really want to happen. They haven't had it in such a long time. And as a historic franchise, it feels like the 49ers have been mismanaged for quite some time now. And throughout this video, I'm going to go over the ways that I would dismantle the Seattle Seahawks if I was Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan. So for the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to keep it relatively short. So first of all, the 49ers already have a philosophy for defense, and Pete Carroll highlighted it. He said that the 49ers just essentially line up, and you know what they're going to run before the ball, but they're just so much better than you, they still just manhandle you essentially. So that being said, I don't think the 49ers necessarily need to change anything for the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, last time they played together, the Seahawks only averaged 4.5 yards. So I think they should maintain a similar game plan. Another thing that I'd like to see from the defensive line in particular is just a stronger maintenance of their pass rushing lanes so that the quarterback can't break out and get a first down on 3rd and long. That's something they kind of struggle with. And then I guess for being nitpicky, let's try not to give up a big play that's a trick play. I feel like the Seahawks might come out and just try to bomb it. That's what I would do. I would try to do something just because I think that it really plays into your hand nicely against the 49ers defense because they give up long passes, but you can't really just go up the field on them super easily. I think that's when teams make mistakes and they throw that interception. And that being said, special teams, same thing. I think they're great. Ray, just hold on to the ball, please. So now to the bread and butter, Brock Purdy and the offense under Kyle Shanahan and how I would attack the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks are really not that impressive. Against the rush against the 49ers last game, they gave up 5 yards a carry. And then for passing, they gave up 7.8 yards per attempt. And this is where I want to bring up the field conditions as well, because we might see some of these numbers even out a little bit just because the field will be wet. But I'm hearing that it's not going to be super wet during the game is what the reports are right now. So that looks good for the 49ers because I think that's what equals out the game more. If it's raining super hard, I think it becomes a much closer game. And for that, since it's not going to be raining extremely hard, I'd like to see the 49ers utilize a play action passing game that maybe even comes out right off the bat and takes a huge shot down the field. I think that might just do something to back off the DBs a little bit. And honestly, play action is something that Brock Purdy excels at. He's really good at turning his back to the defense and then flipping back around and reading the defense extremely quickly. That's something that's impressive to me, is just how well he knows the defense and how well he goes through his reads too, not just on play action but all of his passes. It seems like you could be the 4th target, and if you're open, a lot of times he'll find you. And obviously he's still a rookie, so sometimes he makes mistakes, but incorporating a play action game into this offense paired with Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason, which I'll talk about a little bit later, will really exploit the Seattle Seahawks. And for this game, since it's in the rain, I'd like to see a lot of sure-handed catches. I'd like to see a lot of workload going to Brandon Ayuk out of the wide receiver. Jawan Jennings on 3rd down, I think he's super clutch. Debo, would be nice to get him a couple screens. I think he'll excel in the rain game too because he's a really hard tackler. Christian McCaffrey might struggle a little bit in a rain game because he's more of an elusive back, which the footing in the rain game will definitely take away some of his elusiveness. But having Elijah Mitchell out there, I think Elijah Mitchell almost should start this game as well because I mean, Elijah Mitchell is just such a bruiser of a back, and he has the kind of opposite play style of his McCaffrey. Mitchell is really a power back, even though he's kind of McCaffrey's size, right? So, but he hits hard and he just runs people over. I mean, look at the Arizona Cardinals game. He got 2 touchdowns and he looks great, and he's all rested because he really hasn't played this year. He's gone out with injuries. That would really be my only concern with Mitchell in this game. But I think you could really get all of your running backs involved. I think that Mitchell's a great piece, but paired with Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason, that should be plenty to handle this. I know they also elevated Tevin Coleman. I don't expect him to actually play. They usually just do this to give a game check to one of their players that have been doing extremely well in the practice squad, as a way of thinking though. Another way that I think would be interesting to attack the Seattle Seahawks is using more jet sweeps. I know that the 49ers used to do a lot of jet sweeps. They have done a couple recently. I think it'd be nice to get Danny Gray maybe a jet sweep, or Ray McLeod. I think they really excel at these, and maybe they could turn the corner. I know the conditions are a little bit worse, but I think those guys would be all right in the wet field as long as it's not raining super hard. Another thing that definitely needs to be brought up is the San Francisco 49ers offensive line, because Brock Purdy last game was basically manhandled by the Arizona Cardinals. He was constantly under duress and got sacked quite a few times. So there was some issues in this Cardinals game that may be resolved in this game, however. So on the left side, Brunskill was starting for Aaron Banks, but actually this also affected the right side because Spencer Burford and Brunskill were rotating when Burford felt like he was getting overwhelmed, or when the game was getting a little bit too fast for him because he's still a rookie and a late draft pick at that. Then he would come out and Brunskill would kind of relieve him and allow him to catch his feet underneath him and catch a breath as well. This last game, he wasn't able to do that, so JJ Watt kind of took advantage of him. But regardless of that, this game, Aaron Banks is back. So what Kyle Shanahan really needs to make sure, and I guess it's more Chris Forrester in this matter, is that on the right guard spot, they need to be rotating. Last game kind of illustrated why they have, and even though it's kind of a weird thing to do, it obviously has been working all season. So please don't just start Burford from here on out. Just keep that rotation going throughout the playoffs as long as Banks remains healthy, which hopefully he does. With this fix, the 49ers should be able to solidify their offensive line. This will definitely increase the chances of the running game and the play action game working. And by having a solid running game coupled with a strong play action game, which Brock Purdy is going to do great to execute, I think that's something that's within his realm, and people are afraid of maybe the condition for Brock Purdy. He did play at Iowa for 48 games, and a lot of those games were outside, so he was really used to the elements. So to wrap up this video, I envision the 49ers beating the Seahawks in honestly whatever way they want. Even if they don't follow this game plan, they probably still should beat the Seattle Seahawks. They're just a much more talented team. I say the score should be 21-10. That's what I see, just because the fields are bad and it's a playoff game and Pete Carroll is a great coach. Anyways, now that I just talked for a while, I want to hear your thoughts down below. So please leave them down below, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. It really helps out a ton. Thank you guys for watching these videos and the support. I really appreciate it.